This is the Sports Lounge. Welcome to the home of the Sports Lounge.
Welcome to our YouTube channel.
Welcome to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. So click on the subscribe button and let's stay updated with all the happenings, all the interesting conversations in the world of sports.
Welcome back to yet another episode of the Sports Lounge. In the absence of our officiating ministers and our bishop, I'm here. I'm here to take you guys on a wonderful trip through the world of sports. This time around, focusing on football. I'm the captain, and my co-pilots today, Ife Dotun and Thomason. Nice flying with you guys today.
Same here, man.
It looks like it's going to be bumpy, right?
Lots of turbulence. Talking about bumpy rides, let's start with, let's give a big shout out to Liverpool. They're champions of the Premier League. It's been a long time coming for them. They've always been second place to Pep's Manchester City club, getting nearly there a few times. Got there just once, and now Slot in his first season is a Premier League champion. Tommy, do you think it was a bumpy ride for them?
Yeah, I like to think so. I like to think that it was a bumpy ride, but like I always say, in sports you have to plan for the future a lot, right? You look at the state of Liverpool's team when Slot got in. Very interesting profiles in the team. Very interesting contract situations in the team. Very interesting players. So most of them were at a position in their careers where now it has to happen. So you look at players like, the best players in the squad, you look at Salah, you look at Van Dijk, you look at Trent. For them, it has to happen now. So Slots cannot come out and say, okay, you know what, I want to build this, I want to do that. Most of these guys will walk away. Most of these guys would, do you understand? So he had to find a way to maximize that squad. And I feel like what he did is what is most reflective of his temperament. So if you look at Slot and you look at Klopp, as a person, Klopp is more of like the energetic person running up and down, for Slot, it's more of calm, composed. We've seen him lose his marbles on the touchline a few times, but it was just about, guys, settle down and let's play ball. Because quality-wise, I think Liverpool is better than maybe 15, 16, comfortably, no room for argument. So if you want to argue, then maybe there are like 2 or 3 teams that can match up with them in terms of quality. So it's like, we're better than most of these guys. We need to put ourselves in a good position, and from there, momentum will be our tactic. So I think first, they've lost how many games this season in the league? 2?
2.
Yeah. So, and for a very long time, it was just 1. So you understand, and that one was even an anomaly because they had a lot of chances, they had a lot of effort, and that. But at the end of the day, credit to whom credit is due. If you have to take your chances, people say it's because City were not serious, because Arsenal were chasing them. Is all those things is lazy talk. They did very well, very very well up until late February, I think. They had possibility of winning 4 trophies. Obviously, all of that has evaporated. All of that has evaporated, but yeah, so that's just what it is at the end of the day. And like I said, planning. If you look at most of their signings in the past, not necessarily being coach-oriented, it's more of being a sustainability process. I heard when Klopp came into the team, Klopp was asking sporting director for Julian Brandt, and they're like, huh? Okay, it's Salah you're going to take. And it's like, it's not Salah I want. I want Brandt. If it's not Brandt, then Pedro. So imagine you had gotten Brandt or Pedro. I don't think their story would have been like this. So it's more of, I want this profile, the recruitment team or the football team, they'll figure it out. And I think that's what they've been doing for a long time with signings like McAllister. They had lost legs in Wijnaldum, in Fabinho, and all of that. Like, okay, somebody in that mode. Do you understand? So I just feel like at the end of the day, it's proper planning and it has worked for them. Whether they'll kick on from here, that one is left to be seen.
Proper planning and whether it will work for them in the long run.
Yeah.
Let's see. But you said something, give credit to who credit is due. How much, Tommy, this for you, how much of that credit really should go to Slot? He came into what you could call Klopp's team. He got to sign, I think, just one player and some transfer window. Kesa?
Kiesa came in. Wasn't it January?
He came. No, he came.
Oh,
He
summer.
came in summer. He
Oh,
came in
interesting.
summer. But I think he was injured at the point, so
No,
he
of
didn't
course,
feature.
he's always injured.
So looking at squad, looking at Slots not having much input to the structure of the team he met, should all the credit go to him, or does Klopp deserve some credit, or should that be sent even higher up, as Featherton said?
So I think for teams, you need to progress or you need to plan, as Vedoto mentioned. And if you build a team, it's a lot better that you look at how to sustain that team. I'll use a typical example. When Arsenal went for Emery after Arsene Wenger, I failed to see the idea in that succession plan.
Okay.
Now, when Liverpool went for Slot, especially with the team that Liverpool had, it was something that Slot could manage. Mix his ideologies, because obviously his ideologies are not the same with Klopp's. Mix his ideologies with the ideologies of Klopp to get result now. Of course, I expect their style of play to change a lot more as he remains the manager, because he wants to imprint himself. But then, if you already have a good team, a decent team, you don't need to change everything. For example, an Arsenal or United needed that wholesome change because things were not working. But if you already have a working system, you just do little tweaks here, little. For example, one of the biggest tweaks was Gravenberch. They lost Fabinho as their DLP, their tempo setter and whatnot, and they had none. For some reason, they got Endo, who is not necessarily that profile, and they had to be playing McAllister, who could do a job there. And there was Gravenberch, who had the tools to do that job, but had never really done it before. And credit to Slot for recognizing who the player was, put him there, and adjusting him there. And it was fine for the team. Also, you look at what Slot did for Arnold. You know what? I don't want you, because you're not a fantastic defender, just occupy the space. I've said something on here before. No, it was on I said it, that to be a decent defender, you need two things. You either need athleticism or you need being robust. As a fullback, either you are really fast, you can recover and just cover up your angles, or you are robust, meaning that you can put your body around. So Arnold, you know what? You are not athletic, but you are a bit robust. Just stay there. And to be honest, they've looked a lot defensively better in that shape, even though he still gets dribbled a lot. But they've looked a lot better in that shape, and they are not losing their RCB as much as they used to lose him before, because the guy is working his legs out. So Slot has found a way to take what the minerals that Klopp had and mix his own ingredients. So in as much as we give credit to Klopp for building a decent team for him, we also need to give credit to Slot. For example, the use of Salah. Mohamed Salah always used to run before. Now he's running more efficiently. He's getting older. You know what? We don't need to be playing again football anymore. Just stay. You're already experienced, muscle memory. Pick your moments. And this is his best, in my opinion, this is Mohamed Salah's best Premier League season ever.
Yeah,
Forget the first year that he did. This is the...
Is it best or most effective?
Well, either way. Either way. But this is the most different...
I mean, aren't you your best when you're being the
So
most
I
effective?
think with football it's very relative.
It's very relative because numbers and impact and
differ,
yes,
things.
stuff like that. So it's seen using these players in those roles. Luis Diaz as a 9, you don't want him squandering possession because he's more I want to run. You know what? Go and stay in front. Have a more controlled Gakpo on the left. So you can see even masking Robertson's legs. We said it here that Robertson's legs are gone, but the system has found a way to cover him and make so. We give Klopp credit for being a good team, but Klopp is a man of his own, and he has shown in this. So now whether he will kick on from there is
left to be seen.
Left to be seen.
Just before we leave Liverpool and go to Europe, you mentioned something in further to interesting contract situations at the start of the season, where it looked like they were losing 3 Mavericks at the same time: Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent. With Salah having signed, Van Dijk having signed, or rumored to have signed, do you think this title and, well, considering what his legacy might be if he eventually stays, do you think this kind of nudges Trent to sign a new contract, or you think it's done? And
So, interestingly enough, right, we spoke about this one set a while back, and I told you the exact order in which they were going to sign. So, it's all these things are predictable. There's too much precedence everywhere. So, Trent is the youngest, right? Trent will probably command the most fee in the transfer market and will probably command the most wages now. What Trent just wanted to do back then was pocket watch a bit and see what they'll give Salah and what they'll give Van Dijk in terms of the length of the contracts and their wages. So he can benchmark that and ask for a bit more. I mean, obviously, he's the one that has the most to offer in terms of age. So say, for example, you give Salah a 2-year contract, you give Van Dijk maybe a 3-year contract, you'll be looking at maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So you give Salah 300k, then you give Van Dijk maybe 250 because obviously he's a defender. Do you understand? Van Dijk, Trent is looking at, I want 350 or 400. But I think he delayed a bit too long. And in the middle of all those negotiations, Trent has already done some background signings with Real Madrid. So I don't think that the Salah and the Van Dijk signing will happen quick enough. Yeah, I don't think it means much. I think whatever decision was going to be made had been made already at that stage. Because up until March, Salah was still saying something about, they've not given me any contract, so I think the settling, it's good for them that Salah and Van Dijk stay. So regardless of how their season is going to be next season, you still have senior players in the dressing room, you still have effective players, because those guys can always do a job. So I just feel like in terms of Trent staying, I think that decision had already been made before they were able to settle this ones. So if he was always going to stay, still stay. But I think the chances are.
So the Scousers should just prepare their minds. They're losing Trent in summer.
They should just go and buy right back.
Okay. Leaving Liverpool right now, we're going to Europe. The Champions League semi-final first legs have gone down, and I'll just start by giving Tommy his flowers. I mean, calling the Barca match how it went.
Thank you.
That was a very good analysis, and it unfolded right before our very eyes. I mean, that's the quality we get on the Sports Lounge. But were there any surprise packages in terms of whether it was players' performance, whether it was the tactics from the coaches in either match for you?
Look, so I'll start with the Arsenal PSG game. We all knew losing Thomas Partey was defining, but the ripple effect of losing Thomas Partey meant there was no Merino up front, there was no Declan Rice as 8. It was the ripple effect of that singular loss and Jorginho not being available. For example, you look at Dembele's goal. Declan Rice is used to running to stuff and running at stuff. He had no reason going to join Timber. He should have stayed where he was.
Yeah, he would have.
Jorginho or Thomas Partey most likely wouldn't have left there to go and join. But because Rice has been thinking like an 8 for the last couple of, and that's the thing about when you say a player is multifunctional. Those things end up happening. On the ball, it is great when the player is multifunctional. Sometimes off the ball, it gets confusing. And this is the thing about little margins. Yeah. You're at the point where every little mistake is punished. So immediately the goal came in. I told the guys I was watching the game that Arsenal do not have difference makers. Arsenal rarely do comebacks because they do not have difference makers. And that match should end maximum 1-1. Not because I didn't think Arsenal could. If the match was 0-0, Arsenal could have won that game 2-0 or 3-0. But that goal came too early, and Arsenal just don't have. They are too structured and too rigid, in my opinion, going forward. And especially with the kid of players they have up front now, there was no way Arsenal was going to get back into the game. So I was like, let's just. But the Barcelona game, on the other hand, Barcelona-Inter game, Inter played exactly how I expected almost every other person who had watched Barcelona play across the season. Mm-hmm. You have a big man on front, you have wide men playing, beat their press playing to him, overload the wings, get it round. Once you get it round, those fullbacks are always suspects. I think they changed fullbacks they changed left back 2 times in the game. Get you round.
Injuries and
mostly injuries.
Get you round, bring you back into the box, you're onside. It was literally, so it seems like Inzaghi did his homework almost perfectly. But letting in 3 goals for being the best defense in Europe right now shows the power that Barcelona hold. Like, no matter how much you're going to score them,
serious power.
looking at Inter's backline, I honestly thought we would have Bisek at left centre half to cope a lot more with Yamal.
It
So
will-
Bisek
I
and
think it
Di
will
Marco
have-
on
it will
Yamal.
upset
Yeah.
the balance,
No.
mostly because of Bastoni's left leg.
No, so they did it. They did it against Arsenal. I think if Pavard was fit, they might have attempted to do it again and take Asebi out and have Bastoni in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Pavard was fit, because Bisek was on Saka from the start of that game to the end of the game. Yamal had a free run at Bastoni and Di Marco. It was.
What they
it
call
was.
it?
It was.
The Arsenal in that game might have been what we call a Bosilo. You know what
Oh, Bosilo now.
Maybe somebody was injured or someone was, maybe Asebi was
It
injured
was-
or was unavailable or something. So you just like, you know what, since it's Bisek and Saka, but this is normally what they would do.
Yes.
Bastoni has that shirt. That LCB shirt, lock.
I was hoping that we'll see a Bisek. I was hoping to see more. Obviously, we want to see tactical battles. We want to talk about the tactical battles. Barcelona went to four centre halves at the back. Finished that game with 4 centre halves at the back.
Well, I mean,
anyway, Bisek,
injuries can be unfortunate. Having to lose, they were without Balde already.
Yeah.
And then having to lose.
No, but it was weird that he didn't put in Hector Fort and put in another centre half, because I think he just realized that, you know what, these guys will keep catching me. Let me just have 4 defenders and let me enjoy. These guys will keep catching me.
Bisek, Bastoni, Asebi, Pavard, Yamali 5. Yamali 5.
Has Yamal reached that point of inevitability?
No, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Because I mean,
so this is what
said-
it is.
you
There
said-
are different things. There are different faces to the game. When we had this Yamal conversation sometime, I think it was 2 months ago, myself, Tony, and Bamji, I was like, okay, it's the person that gets me off my seat the most.
Yeah.
This is not a now thing. I've always said that.
Yeah.
Now the problem is for you to reach the point of inevitability, your numbers have to follow. Yamal's numbers are not bad, but they are not inevitable numbers. In fact,
he's not a
probably
scorer
have
yet.
2 players in that Barcelona team that are more inevitable than is in Rafinha
Numbers
and
wise,
and
Lewandowski.
Lewandowski.
Yeah, almost also ahead of.
But no, I'm not even looking at when I'm going into a game. Who is the most likely Barcelona player to
get
score?
numbers.
To score or to get me something.
Do you understand? Yamal is further down the list, not necessarily because he's not as good as them, but that's just how their system is structured. So
Works at the
when you
moment,
say
yeah.
someone is inevitable, there was one period in 2011 or 2012, Messi scored all the La Liga teams round, like consecutively. That's what you call inevitable.
And I don't even think he was scoring one.
It was
two
braces,
two,
the braces of
exactly.
hat-tricks. Braces of
So
hat-tricks.
that's what you call inevitable. But what Yamal is doing now is,
I think we're having a conversation about 17-year-old Yamal and 17-year-old Messi.
there's only one 17-year-old that I've heard of. Again, all those pre-colonial
All those
times don't count.
Pele.
All those things don't count. Ronaldo de Lima is the only 17-year-old that can shout to Yamal. 17.
What of Neymar? Neymar
17.
Neymar
No.
17.
Neymar
was 18. Neymar was 18.
when he got
Neymar
into
was
that Ballon
18.
d'Or
Neymar was
top
18 at
top
2010
13.
World Cup, and he could not go. He could not make the squad.
True.
He could not make the squad. Mbappe was 17 at, I think he turned 18.
The breakout was 18 and 4 months.
No, Mbappe was 17
At 16.
at Euros 2016. He
I
didn't
didn't
make the
know-
squad.
didn't
Deschamps didn't even have his number at that time. Yamal was 16 last Euros. So in terms of being, see, now when you say best teenagers, then it's a different conversation entirely.
Yeah, because it's
players
include-
like Michael Owen,
Michael
players
Owen,
like Mbappe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 18, 19
Fabregas.
becomes
A couple of them,
Yeah,
Messi,
because
yeah.
most of those guys, but
By
Messi
18,
was
19.
18 at the under 20 World
20 World
Cup.
Cup.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
And that
was
was
sustaining
his
someone. Yeah,
big
and that was
break.
his big
That was
break. And it
his
wasn't
big break. So
nothing close to
in
this
terms of
Yamal.
17, Yamal.
No,
Yamal
even that
is-
18
Now-
Messi himself. Even that 18 Messi.
So, bro,
I
but
don't think
when
was
you get
18.
when Yamal turns 18, the bar is going to get higher because
Yeah,
we've seen a lot of crazy 18
crazy
years old.
18-year-olds,
We've seen a lot of crazy
gets-
18 years old.
it gets a lot
bit
higher,
steeper, yeah. But for 17 years
I
old,
think he's the greatest 17-year-old of all time.
no, I think Ronaldo de Lima can talk. They can have a conversation.
They can have a conversation.
They can have a conversation.
But do you also
they get
think
to agree on
that
it.
do you also think that his play, his consistent play, is one of the major reasons why it is like that?
This is the Sports Lounge.
Welcome to the home of the Sports Lounge.
Welcome to our YouTube channel. Welcome to our YouTube channel.
Don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. So click on the subscribe button and let's stay updated with all the happenings, all the interesting conversations in the world of sport.
That they will tell you if a Messi got this same player at 16, it should be able. So like we're having a conversation on the group, and I felt that what you have shown us,
I think
what the things that favor you,
we will never agree on this.
the things that favor you is different.
It's just going to be half full or
Half full,
empty.
half empty,
Because
yeah.
you could have gotten many times that you play yourself out of the team. True. It happens.
So what I've shown us, that's what I've shown
You
us.
could have played yourself out of the team. I mean, if looking at how Yamal got onto the scene, yes, they didn't have much players. They needed to bring someone from La Masia with.
They had players.
No,
That boy was
I'm saying
balling out.
they were-
It was an Agbaya.
Ferran Torres was in that team as a 7 now.
That guy was an Agbaya.
He met Ferran Torres in that team now.
Yes,
That guy was
And he
an
sent him out of the team.
No,
That guy was an
I'm talking
Agbaya.
about a full squad of options. Messi's Barcelona, breaking into Barcelona at that time, they had a full squad of options, not just starting 11s.
Yeah,
Yes.
Gulli had Messi on
I'm
the
saying
bench.
yes, exactly. I'm saying now, with Yamal's breakthrough, it was a starting 11 and then fringe players, and that's where Yamal got his opportunity. With the credit I'll give to Yamal is you don't get these opportunities if you're not good enough. They
That's
see
the
you.
point.
They see you in training. They see you
And it's a
in
club
your
like
age grade
Barcelona
games.
where the coaches always go under.
Yeah, they look.
Yes.
So
Someone
Fati
like
got the
Xavi-
chance.
someone
and Fati got the chance. and-
Someone like Xavi that's been in the system since the 90s.
Yeah.
He has played through the system. When you come back there, you always
You
go
always
back
want to
on
go
that.
back.
See, okay, these are the guys that are good at 6. These are the guys that are 17.
Pep with Busquets and the
The-
likes.
the-
yeah.
Pep
Do you
was
think-
even Barca
was
big
Barca
coach.
big coach, so he
that's
saw-
a different thing entirely.
Do you
So
think Yamal had that good fortune of having the coach at the time of his breakthrough was someone who had gone through the system? So he knew to bring someone.
How did you see
through
that
the
coach?
system
we can
and sort of groom him.
we can do all this. Oh, this worked for him. This worked for him. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's your quality that sets you apart.
Hard work meets opportunity. I think is that the
It's
coach?
your-
Yeah.
It's your quality that sets you apart.
Even
Luck
even
is hard work meeting opportunity
Yeah.
at the right time. Yeah.
Miles Lewis Kelly, he's not a left back. Saka was not a left back. You could go around. You could go around and see players. Yeah. So, but and there are also other players who got.
Should we expect Max Doma to have a left back feature first for us
That
now?
boy is the best 15-year-old I've ever watched in my life.
So now everybody's giving it within
So-
age
but
bracket.
no,
So
no,
that's
see,
15.
no,
Age,
so- no,
age
no.
bracket.
I was sharing with Bamiji. Hat-trick. He's captaining Arsenal under 18 at 15. And I think it was Ferdinand. I
That's
saw him
big.
first. I saw him first on Ferdinand. Ferdinand was like, there's a 13-year. He went to watch his son or something. Then he saw a 13-year-old, and the 13-year-old was controlling the England under 15 still or something like that. And he was asking people, who's that boy? I told the boy was 13. When I saw that thing, I went to check. I'm like, the boy's in Arsenal. Who is this boy? I watched a couple of games. The press already asking Mikel Arteta when the boy is going to play.
You can play this
let
weekend now.
No, you can't. I think there's a rule in Premier League that if you are not 15 by the beginning of the season, it's more
You can
difficult to
play.
get the player to play.
Yeah.
So he was 14 at the beginning of the season,
Oh, wow.
and I already played for
Insane.
Where was I?
Where was I 14 years ago?
insane levels of talent we're talking about. But I think one of the big concerns now, Tom, this coming to you because one of your favorite footballers, Cesc Fabregas, he's one of those players, one of those mavericks that you could say at a very young age, they had too many minutes.
Yeah.
Do you think Yamal has just played his 100th game and he's not even 18 yet? Do you think this accumulation of minutes can end up hurting him down the line?
Yes. So one thing is, in Fabregas' time, people just started learning about their bodies and taking care of their bodies. I think same thing happened to Wayne Rooney also. Also, I think when you know your body, you have personal trainers and stuff like that. They know there's now this sports science thing, player load and whatnot. Also, for a player who takes too many hits like Yamal does, is also a big risk factor. But one thing is, if he doesn't have as much defensive load as other people, like Fabregas, I think Fabregas had too much defensive load also, plus his on-ball load. Him and Rooney had too much off-ball load so long till they were like 24, 25. And that affected them. While Messi and Ronaldo started getting load lifted off them, Fabregas and Ronaldo kept, Fabregas and Rooney kept
Getting load added.
getting load added to them. And so that affects your... Look at Hazard, for example, too. Hazard had a lot of load in France. Came to Premier League. I don't think Hazard took care of himself as well as he should have. His diet and stuff.
Shawarma boy.
And he kept getting hits. And before... Similar to Neymar. Neymar had a lot of load early on. Didn't take care of himself properly. kept getting hits before he was 30.
Especially
So I think one is your body is one important thing, but how you take care of yourself, how you look after the body and your load matters. But Barcelona know how to. Barcelona should know how to manage his load, manage his body.
I feel like there's something that we're missing from this conversation. I think that most of these guys that we're calling, they've had serious injuries.
Yeah, that's another
So
thing.
it's one serious injury that can easily to
not
many
taken
things.
care
So
of.
I
See
feel
someone like Saka, I'm afraid that by the time he's 29, look at Raheem Sterling. By the time he's 29, he's done.
this Saka's hamstring issue, so we're discussing about it. It still looks sharp.
Yeah.
It still looks sharp.
It's
As
his
sharp
first
as
one now.
before.
It's his
Well,
first one.
maybe not. But the argument or the discussion was more about because Saka is not naturally explosive. When I say explosive, I mean like
It's not
Martinelli,
real. It's not
real pace.
Quick
It's
of
more
that
of-
five
more
yards.
of
trickery,
exactly.
IQ
So it's more
football.
of IQ football. So it's a lot manageable, even if he has those type of issues, because his hamstring issues. It's not like his knee or ankle or all of that. So
ligaments.
exactly. So we're just having that conversation around, and I feel like those serious injuries are the things that cascade into big things. If Yamal can, I don't know. I feel like with the way football is now, most of these things are inevitable. I was watching the post-match conference after the United Bilbao game, and Ruben Amorim says Mazraoui is not traveling to he's not playing against Brentford.
Yeah, all the players are
he
trained.
has-
I know he too has
He
been.
he said he has reached his maximum load limits, and if he plays again, he's going to get injured. So if you have this foresight, if they have this, I mean, you can't plan for. Even the Barcelona were talking about, they took off 2 or 3 players injured. 78 minutes, they had to take off Pedri. So Pedri was running the game at that point, but they know that if you leave him on the pitch, you miss him
Even
in
Inter had
second
to
leg.
take Dumfries out.
Yeah,
And we realized maybe they were like,
So they have
let's
their
not
way
take
of
the-
managing
things
all
out.
these things, and you have to make the best decision for your things. But I think that so far science has helped them, but they need that luck of no serious injury.
No serious injuries. Before we leave the Champions League, what should we look forward to in the second leg? Tommy, Professor, once again.
No. God speaks when God wants to speak.
You can't force it.
So for the Arsenal PSG game, I think Arsenal need to get a goal early. There are mistakes in PSG's backline. We saw it in that first leg. So Martinelli went through, Trossard went through. They scored a goal that the offside one. Donnarumma did not know whether I was supposed to come and catch the ball. They need to get on PSG. We know they missed the outball of Merino, like over the press of those little miscreants, those little miscreants in the middle, and Declan Rice can't turn. He's not that type of player to receive the ball and turn, so they missed that. But let's see if Arsenal, if Arsenal gets a goal, and PSG have to react. If Dembele is also missing the game, do they go with if he's missing? Because we don't know we don't know what's going on with Dembele. If he's missing the game, we don't know if they will go with the Goncalo Ramos or they'll go with the Bakula. One of the two. So if he goes with the Goncalo Ramos, it is easier for Arsenal in the sense that he's a focal nine. Saliba and Co can see something to hold, and so the game can progress from there. But if they go with the Bakula and they have Doué as the false nine or somebody there again too, that can drop away from the centre halves, it might be a problem for Thomas Partey and the centre backs. So it depends on what PSG line up. We all know what Arsenal is going to line up, the exact 11. It's PSG's attack that we are not sure about. So PSG's attack will most likely dictate what's going to happen. I don't see Arsenal doing comebacks. And again, it's away at Paris. If Arsenal doesn't get a goal in the first 15 minutes, it might take a lot to get Arsenal back in that game. Same thing happened against Bayern last season, 2-2 first leg. If Madrid had won the first leg, there's no way Arsenal was winning Bernabeu. Like Arsenal has to, they are their best when you come at them. Yeah, when you have to come at them and then they cannot play you out of the game. But if they have to force, because as we said, they don't have as much difference makers, it's structured. If Mateta can allow Saka to wander a lot more, we saw that happen in the PSG game, and it brought out some good things. Let Saka wander a lot more. Let Martinelli wander a lot more. Let Merino wander a lot more. Get Timber outside of Saka so Saka can go and wreck.
Or just play Ben White.
The problem with Ben White is defensively, Kabashkela will kill him. So you
But the team that plays,
no, after the first 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, it got better, yeah.
It got better.
It got
To be
better.
fair,
So
After kicking,
yes, so I think
like
even
3-4 times.
the kicking was it should have been sent off, but it was a psyche.
It was a
Yeah.
It
serious
was
ref.
psyche.
It was
Um,
a serious. It was an English ref that ref.
But Inter Barcelona, to be honest, I do not have
Any
any
idea.
idea.
I have a hot take for PSG just now. First things first, PSG is not good. I always say it, and people always look at me funny. PSG is not good.
You and Cerebron, you have this. Is it an Enrique thing or PSG general?
No. So the reason why I say it's not good, don't worry, I'm exaggerating. But the point is, their game is based on moments. It's magic. Magic is not sustainable. Look at the type of goals that they score. It's not well worked. It's not like there are no patterns. They're not this thing. They build up until the final third. It's sweet.
Then allow the three of them
It's
to
sweet.
go over the line.
Now, it's mostly because there's no striker. I know. Do you understand? Now, look at the goals that they've scored in the knockout phase. Against Liverpool, that first leg where they had all those chances, they did not score. Look at the goal they scored at Anfield. Ruffled also. Now, against Villa in the first leg, magic. Doué, Carasvela, magic, sweet goals. Do you understand? Now, my point is, Arsenal were able to curtail them to a large extent. After the first 10, 15 minutes, we thought it was going to be like a barrage or something like that. They've put off a couple of good saves from Magic again. Now, the problem with Magic is Magic will not work every day. I thought Arteta was cowardly in that first leg.
Yes.
Because as at 60th minute, nothing was working. Bro, change something. Arteta made only one sub up until the 90th minute, and
Right
one
back.
sub was right back for right back. Come on.
I've said it here before.
Come on.
He's cowardice now.
If
We said it here before.
it was me, and I know that Merino had done a lot of things up front. Merino did not have a great game.
Yeah.
It was not a bad game, but it was not a good game.
Bring in a
you know,
Tierney, send Merino
put
up front.
it doesn't have to be Tierney. If you're looking at your
Put
you want-
MLS in midfield.
you want to maintain your midfield overload, even if it's Zinchenko.
Put him in midfield.
Put somebody in left back. Take off Trossard. Put Merino
Merino
back
up
front.
front.
And load it.
And let's see.
At
That
least
was-
be inventive.
That was.
So
I think that was one of the most requested things from.
Even if it was Martinelli for Sterling in the last 5 minutes.
Let us see something.
Just
Make an
try
attempt.
something.
Full
Okay,
us.
so
Full us.
If you were brave enough to do Odegaard off Nwaneri on at 90+1, it wouldn't have changed anything. It was 85 minutes. Do you understand?
Okay.
You give the boy a lot more things to work
But
with.
what of for Inter versus Barca? Any final verdicts before going break?
That match is going to be another very
Roller
great
coaster.
game again. But I think this time around, both teams will have watched the first leg again and people will have adjusted. I don't think we're going to see 6 goals again. I'm looking at maybe 1 or maybe 2 goals maximum. I think both sides will have adjusted. Those are two very smart coaches.
Does Flick really adjust defensively?
So adjusting in the sense that you've seen where they're going to with that line. So you just have to, you don't have a choice. If you don't adjust, they're going to wallop you again. Do you understand? So I think it's going to be a closer game than closer in terms of number of goals, not in terms of, because the first leg was balanced. So I think we're going to see another good game, but this time a lot more cagey.
A lot, KJ. There you have it from us on the first leg of this flight. Do stay with us. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back to the return leg of our flight. I'm still with my co-pilots, Fedotun and Thomason. Right now, we'll be touching base with other parts of Europe. We've talked about the senior boys. Let's talk about the junior brothers.
The losers
in
league.
If you win,
In the UEFA Europa League.
you beat what's in front of you
And
now.
the
You people that lost,
UEFA
they don't call you losers team. Which kind of
and
wahala
the
be this?
UEFA Europa Conference League. It was Athletic Bilbao versus Manchester United. United winning out.
Glory, Man United.
I don't really think there's so much glory to be seen in that match.
Is it that bad?
That's when you said to yeah, but I thought it got better. And again, the numerical advantage helped a lot. I think that in Europe, Bilbao is one of the most intense teams in Europe.
Yeah, they are.
On and off the ball. And that's why they were able to bring out those many mistakes from United in the first. Because United is not exactly good on the ball. I mean, let's call it what it is. They had their number 1 press trigger. Bugatti. So it was more of, don't worry, let them pass that around. Once he gets here, he will try to turn around. That's the person
Nip him,
you
shit.
So it was I mean, and it worked for them because they got the ball off him a couple of times. But after the first goal, then United could lock up in that back five and look to play on the break, which is how they were able to get the penalty that led to the second goal. From there, red card, 2-0 up.
Do we have a consensus on the red?
It's a red card.
On the red.
It's a red
card.
card.
It's a red
card.
Okay.
No,
then
it's not.
There's no
The
need
rules are
to-
clear. The
The
rules are
rules
clear.
are clear. It's,
Rules are very
it's
clear.
not double
Double one,
job.
it's not double one.
Subjective.
If you make an attempt to kick the ball, yellow card.
Yellow card. If you don't make an attempt to
red
kick the ball,
card.
cynical.
Simple and straight.
Red card.
So, in fact, there should have been another red card, but the referee has family at home. They will beat him in the stadium. It's only in Nigeria that they beat referees. They'll beat him in the stadium. So, I thought it helps. 3-0 helps. I don't think a lot of United fans are confident going to the second leg because,
That's bad, though.
like I always say, when you put two teams
bad.
that you think are par against each other and one person wins 3-0, it means the second leg, the other person can win 3-0. If
You just need conditions to happen in the
exactly one red card, one United red card in Old Trafford, are you telling me I cannot be 3-0? But
Nah, it
again,
won't be 3-0. I think it will be closer to 4-5.
4-5. Anyway, just to put it out there, I think there's a sharp contrast with, and that takes us to the discussion we're having offsets. I think there's a sharp contrast between what United do in the league and what they do in the Europa League.
Before we get into that, because they are brothers in arms. Tottenham.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
same, we have the same discussion.
Exactly.
We can have the
Yeah.
same discussion with
Exactly, and he annoys
them.
me.
A different Tottenham in Europe than a different Tottenham in the local league.
It boils down to a couple of factors, and the first one being
Wait, before we talk about what it goes down to, tell me, why does it annoy you so much?
It annoys me that somebody who is 13th or 16th or 17th in their league would play a league that is meant for losers and will now still end up going to the Champions League. It annoys me that United and Spurs can rescue a demonic season. Like, we need to be truthful. Now, this is not a bias that I don't like Spurs or don't like United. No, not. I'm just being logical. Look at what Bournemouth or Fulham or what these guys have done in across this particular season. Mm-hmm. And then seeing that even Forest might end up not even going Champions League as we thought they were going to go. Then a United or a Spurs, with what they have done in that same league, will go and represent that league. So I've always had the opinion that the best people in the league season should represent you in Europe. I don't believe in this Europa League. Almost like 8 teams in a team are going to. Every league should bring out their best. Play yourself. We now know who is the best around. But having all these pocket entries, having all these just because they want big teams that are formed. Most of them want big teams that are fumbled for followership's sake. If United makes the Champions League next season, it's more money for UEFA and whatnot. Mm-hmm. They now have these ways of you don't fumble. You know what? Make I give you back door. That it feels like.
But that's not what it is.
No, that's why I'm.
Okay, so
for me, it feels like that.
I want to go. Let's
feels like
over
that.
time.
Okay. Let's go way back. You remember when Sevilla won their first? Then it was still the UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
I think that was in 2005. Enzo Maresca was there and all of that. Do you remember who they beat in the final? Middlesbrough. Do you remember Middlesbrough go to that Europa League? They won the Carabao Cup. They've always been the Carling Cup. They've always been those windows. If you win the FA Cup, you go here. If you win the Carabao Cup, Newcastle is already going.
When did Middlesbrough relegate?
When I think it still took a
like
while.
3-4
No,
years.
it took a while.
When Bolton went to this, when did Bolton relegate?
It still took a while.
When Fulham went to. So the thing
They were
is,
still there.
is backdoor for
good. My point is, it has always been in existence.
Wait, Tommy.
Newcastle is going to.
Wait, Tommy. If I get this correctly,
No, Tommy's
you are
upset
on-
at the teams
you're
that are
upset
going.
that- you're
Tommy's not
upset
upset that there's a
big
back
teams-
door. Tommy's upset that
No.
Abayas
No,
are passing through the back door.
Thank you very much. Abayas are passing to the back door.
Tommy's upset
They should say
Abayas
that if
are
you are in
passing-
top 50,
Good. So-
if you are in
so-
top 50 of, if you are in top 50
Let me
of
tell you what
coefficient
Tommy's
ranking,
doing.
you
does
cannot
not
use
apply
back
to
door.
you.
If you don't
Let me
qualify
tell you
normally,
what
get
Tommy's
out.
doing. Let me tell you what Tommy's doing. If Ipswich was in the semis of the Europa League and they
He'll
won
be
the
rooting
league,
for Ipswich.
he'll be rooting for Ipswich. It's because what is United?
What are
What
you
is
doing
United
there?
in 50 or
But
60?
can I ask you a question, Tommy?
Yeah.
If you're looking at, you mentioned coefficients just now. If you're looking at league coefficients and how respected these leagues are, next season in the Champions League, would you rather have a Tottenham with the caliber of players they currently have, or would you rather have Morgan Gibbs-White and I know in the Champions League play like representing England?
Fun fact: in the last 2 years,
No,
that-
it's before we get
I'll
into
answer.
your fun fact.
I'll answer the question. Like my
With the fun fact.
yes, with the
Okay.
fun fact. Fun fact: the last time that somebody made it like that into the Champions League from the league finishing well, is Aston Villa, and we saw Aston Villa in this season's Champions League, right?
Yeah,
Thank
last
you.
time before that was
Was
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
But they
And-
joined group
no,
stage
but,
now.
then we saw that group stage. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Well, they did
United
well,
and
Sha.
Spurs will go out of that group
Yeah,
stage.
they did
Two,
well. And
they
had
did well.
They had a terrible group. yeah,
Before
to be fair.
that time, the last time somebody did that was Leicester, and we saw
Leicester
them.
won the league now.
Yes, like
Yeah,
somebody.
they
I'm
won the
saying the
league
same
and
thing.
then
They didn't sneak in. They won the league.
No, what I'm saying is,
No, I'm
I'm
saying-
saying a bad team finish
bad team-
finish
How can a bad
well.
team win the league now?
No,
That
wait,
Leicester team was
no,
not bad.
understand
It's
what
not
I'm
finishing
saying.
well.
Like a team you don't
Okay.
expect finishing
Versus
well,
a
going
big
into
team
the Champions
using, in
League,
quotes,
using
backdoor.
backdoor to
Me,
get
I'm
to
saying
Champions
remove
League.
league winners from
So-
that conversation.
What I'm saying in essence is the Morgans is right this season have played well enough in the league to get themselves into the Champions League. I don't think United have.
But if they've played well enough to get into the Champions League,
Okay, so
why are they falling out of?
No, these things happen.
So
now.
Toby,
Normal.
let me just tell you what's going on, and that's just the fact. For United and Spurs, with respect to the league season, it's been over since like November or December.
So
There's
they are
not-
so they are even
There's
tanking.
nothing you want. So whenever I see United
Because there's a
fans,
backdoor.
whenever I see United fans do all this, you're just above West Ham. Okay, so what's the best that can happen? You probably win. Let's say from January we've won maybe we win 5 games extra. You'll probably be 9th or 10th.
Ninth or
or 8th.
10th.
That's still bad.
It's still bad.
It's
So
still
it
bad.
changes.
So
So they will not tank.
it's just like we're not going to get anything from the league. So in the league, we'll come to the match, we'll do cardio.
Are you?
That's what's been happening. I'm not saying
You're saying United and Tottenham pretty much have tanked games deliberately.
it's not okay. So it's not. I won't call it tanking. So this is what I think.
It's prioritizing.
Not for Spurs. I'm talking from a United point of view. Ruben Amorim wants to force players to abandon bad habits. In the league, that is what must happen. You must abandon those bad habits by force. Now in the Europa League, he knows that he has to win. So
So he can indulge.
Maguire up front against Lyon last 20 minutes. The whole
Maguire was
Casemiro,
doing Messi.
the whole
Maguire was
Casemiro
doing
Ugarte, the whole Casemiro Ugarte base,
Base
the
in-
whole not so high line in the Europa League. If you've noticed,
Yeah.
it's more of conservative in the Europa League. All those things is there's an opportunity to make something out of the season, so we prioritize this. In the league, it's more of everybody. The line must be high. You must expand. You must play
This is how we-
This is how we
this
must.
is how we
play.
should play.
So we can fail because it
nothing
doesn't
to
mean
play for.
much. Do you understand? Not like we want to fail, but we are willing to experiment. In Europa League, there's no
So
room for
if
that.
there was not that backdoor of the Europa League, he would have been serious in the league. I mean.
What are you serious about? Guys, United have been out of top 4 races like
That's
October.
why that backdoor should not be available.
Okay, so if there's no backdoor, it doesn't mean that the league standing will
okay.
improve.
Let's leave this backdoor conversation. We'll come back around for it. But talking about going even deeper into your reactions are hilarious to me. Going even deeper into
But when I started to Europa
Europe.
League, people did not do anything there.
What were they doing there?
losing against Olympiacos.
I don't. Like me, I'm notorious for this. My take.
Can we focus?
Let's go back. Let's go back.
Let's go back to the Conference League now, where we have.
Don't be about
This is
to get
actually
angry
very. It's actually a very interesting time. Betis versus Fiorentina. Did you see it going that way?
Yeah,
2-1 to Betis.
So it was always going to be very close, very, very close. Both sides are good sides. I think Betis might be on a higher floor technically and all of that, but Fiorentina is also a very, very, very good side. And they've had a couple of players strike gold this season. Number one is Moise Kean. I just learned before kickoff that their captain was on loan elsewhere. I didn't think that was possible. The captain's gone. Okay, anyway, Walcott is on loan. Sorry. So it happens. I just learned that Biragi was on loan.
Christian Biragi is on loan.
Yeah, he's in Torino at the moment.
When did he go on loan?
I think in January.
January.
Anyway, so Mandogra, they've had a few people strike goal this season. There's one, his name is skipping my mind now, but there's one left footer somewhere in and around their midfield. Very, very good player as well. So you expect, especially for a Fiorentina side that have gotten to the last two Europa League, last two Conference League finals, you expect them to be heavyweights in that competition and get this far. But Betis is on another level. You have, again, Agbaya players like Isco, like Lesonso, like Bakamba,
Anthony.
and coached by Manuel Pellegrini. You know all those type of things. So it was always.
Can you
going to
really
be
call?
close.
Can you really call them Adbayas? These are players
No,
with.
so
that we've said
this is-
we thought someone like Isco, his best was behind him. Someone like Anthony.
Those are the best.
So look
not
at
exactly the best,
look at it from this
United, so
angle.
You can't really call them.
Look at it from this angle. Look at the 4 teams in the semis of the Europa League and the Conference League, and go back to the league standings and look at their positions. Almost all of them were somewhere near the top. So I know United was second, Lazio was first. So the 4 teams in the Europa semi-final, Lazio were knocked out by Bodo Glimt.
Yeah.
The remaining 3, that's United,
Yeah,
Bilbao, were
that was
2,
the
3,
rest
4.
of the top
That's
4,
2, 3,
yeah.
4. Same thing. Chelsea was first. I can't remember who was second, but I know Betis and Fiorentina were close. to
And
the
they were
top as
all
well.
expected to.
So,
They were
do you
all
understand?
expected
So
to
they were the
finish in.
best teams.
They are not even the quality of that tournament in the first place.
Tomi, sorry now. Tomi,
They're
sorry.
very angry.
If you want to do developmental league, let us know that we are going to do developmental.
Anyway,
league.
so with Chelsea and Jugadin, man, that is the real Agbaya discussion, because Chelsea ordinarily should be a Champions League team, right? They still have the chance of getting to the Champions League through league standings, and they didn't just drop 1 tier; they dropped 2
tiers.
tiers down. So that's who you should be angry with.
Chelsea were playing 2 different 11s at the start of the season because that league, those things.
Is it because of the league, or they just had the players to rotate?
No, you are sorry.
Those things, those ban big boys from
Oh,
going
okay,
there.
so Toby, I'll just wrap this
So
conversation with-
you want UEFA?
If you want
to
UEFA
ban,
to
wait,
spotlight
sorry,
smaller teams.
Tommy, wait. You want UEFA to ban very good players from shining a light on a UEFA tournament?
No, shine the light on the UEFA tournament. Let us watch the bad players that are in those other
Okay,
teams.
so Toby,
Would you tune in?
I
Or-
have, Toby, I have one question.
Why
you
is he
tune in?
Nonso Madueke?
Toby-
Why is he playing against Garden City Club of Ikoyi?
Toby, I have only one question.
Let us
I
stop
have
deceiving
only one
ourselves.
question to ask you.
Tommy, you're hilarious.
Just one question.
Yeah.
When life throws you level, what you do?
You throw it back and ask for orange.
Well, you know the answer to that question. So it's unfortunate here, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. You can't tell a team that's having a very bad season that
Not to rescue it.
No,
with-
so what?
There's a
So
chance to
to
lose.
on the more serious note, what upsets me the most is people's value of success or people's understanding of what success is, and people assuming that you had a better season than somebody else because you won the Europa or.
Water and
So-
Gary will find their level. at the
So
end of
yeah,
the
so
day.
like so
It's not a-
it's those kind of things that I'm like, I don't think you did, and you should not feel like, and it's like
are you-
Should I give you the best example? Do you remember where Chelsea finished in 2012 when they won the league? When they won the Champions League?
Champions League, yes now.
Where they
They were like
finished?
6 or 7.
Do you know what happened to them in the next Champions League?
They went out the
Group
group
stage
stage.
Group stage exit. Straight up.
So exactly. So why?
You cannot cheat. Don't
It
worry.
will show.
It
It
will
will
show.
show.
So
Now when they got to the Europa League,
So United
they
or
won-
Spurs,
when they got to
it will show
when they got to the Europa League, do you remember?
It
okay,
shows their
so they
level.
won it now. It shows
yeah,
their level now.
in 16-17 when United won the Europa League. Next year, out round of 16 now, or Sevilla.
Yeah, I think
You
yeah,
cannot cheat.
it's-
Don't worry.
For me, those who understand football, like they know that
It's ball don't lie.
league
man.
football is actually where your quality shows.
Shows
Because
the, no,
It's
over
the
time,
biggest-
when your
it's the
consistency-
biggest.
consistency.
It's the biggest
Yes.
determinant of
Indicator.
your growth.
Your growth,
I mean,
yes.
indicator rather, not
Yeah.
determinant.
Yeah.
Indicator. of
Because
your
I
growth.
mean, you had the opportunity to show consistency
Big
over a
teams,
period
small
of
teams,
times.
yeah.
You get to play a lot of teams over. Like so, if you're faltering there, that's the biggest
and you're
indicator
using
that
something else,
something
and you're
clearly
using
is
something
wrong.
else to mask that nonsense you are doing. Omo,
Let's
Let's move on.
Tell me, do you hate makeup?
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Do you hate makeup?
I'm not a great fan, but
It's obvious.
let's move on. Let's move on.
But talking about outliers and spotlighting the small teams, I think these 2 teams I'm about to mention, they deserve round of applauses. Starting with Wrexham, back to back promotions, and it's.
They've come to the end of their fairy tale. Sha. Call me
You think
hater,
championship is the end of the fairy tale?
Call me a hater, whatever. They've bulldozed their way through.
No,
they-
but-
they've
but-
bulldozed their way through those
No,
leagues.
last season,
Nationwide League One,
They-
League Two, and then League One
They-
itself.
Okay, so like Tommy will say, what is James McLean looking for? in the Nationwide League?
no, but I saw. So I thought they bulldozed their way through the.
That's
those
what they did.
No,
no?
but then I checked this season. They spent. They were not.
It's not money.
They were, no, so and I'm saying I actually thought they bought. Me, I felt they bought.
It's not
They,
buying.
but they spent They spent less than a lot of teams in that place, and they're doing well.
So where do you think they'll finish in championship this coming season?
Honestly, I don't know.
They're going to fight
Okay, and
But I think
then
they'll spend money. Now,
the second team I would love to spotlight, all the way from Scotland, back-to-back promotions, Falkirk FC, but not just promotions this time around. They actually won. They won the League One, went to the championship. They won the League One unbeaten, by the way. Went to the championship, won it again, and next season they'll be playing in the Scottish Premiership.
Falkirk have been the team I used to see on FIFA. Then when they will loan you out and you got me playing in some if I play, they become a legend. Got me playing in some rubbish teams, and seeing that their story now is amazing.
Yeah, very very amazing story. This season, I think it's Collins, one of their forwards, 10 goals, 10 assists, topping both individual charts. Reminiscent of Salah as well in the English Premier League. But yeah, big ups to Falkirk, big ups to Wrexham. We'd love to see how they perform under the new spotlight. And then that brings me to, just before a roundup, talking about football fairy tale stories. Ifedotun, what is that football fairy tale that stands out for
There's
you?
only one. I don't know. It's Denmark United too. They don't qualify for the tournaments. They had to do.
Ifedotun, you said you were young.
Everybody knows the story now.
I don't know this story. Please enlighten me.
Okay, Denmark did not qualify for the Euros in '92, and they called them as like an emergency country to come and fill in the gap. And they went all the way and they won the tournament. They beat Germany. Germany that just won the 1990 World Cup. They beat Germany in the final. Yes, back pass roll up the Lord.
That tournament was the reason why they banned centre back passes.
Pass Peter Schmeichel, carry
catch
the ball, bounce. But yeah, they ended up winning it with larger brothers and all of that. So is this not even a Cote d'Ivoire story from last AFCON where they were one leg out. And this one they were never in the tournament at all. So I think that's the biggest one.
Biggest fairy tale. To me, what's that fairy tale story for you?
I kind of have two that I'm tossing with. It's Luton. Everybody knows Luton's story. The Sharks found their way into the Premier. Unfortunately, they couldn't stay, but it was a really good ride. Then the biggest one for me was Zambia in 2012.
That's another good one.
Nobody expected. I think the only player from Zambia
Brothers.
The only player I knew from Zambia was Kalusha Boya of years ago. I didn't even know anything about whoever they were. And
that's another very good one.
The fact that Drogba did not win an AFCON because of Zambia gave me so much joy.
Quick trivia.
Is this fairy tale or is this hate?
I just remember that
or you combined it.
But I just remember that fairy tale. I said it was going to do
brilliant.
So Greece in 2004. Greece in 2004 was a very big one. That's why I said one trivia.
Yeah.
So someone asked me this question a while back. Apart from Zacharakis and Karisteas, do you know any other person that scored for Greece in that tournament?
That scored for. I don't remember that scored.
No idea.
So there was a Delas that scored in the semis against Czech, the silver goal. It was a top 20 or top 25 Ballon d'Or nominees that year. It was just a very, very question because someone just asked me. I just remember that.
Who's the guy that was in both team?
Stelios. Giannakopoulos,
yes. Then their goalkeeper, Gina, blah, 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 one very long name. Their goalkeeper.
I was young then.
You took us to 92 like seconds ago. But there you have it. There you have it from us. We've taken you through the world of football, fairy tale stories, the European roundup, and once again, credit to the Premier League champions in Liverpool. Talking about champions, we get to see if Kane can finally lift his curse this weekend. And
Treasure will come here.
company.
Treasure will come.
Treasure will definitely be
then
here.
you will bring Ike as start for me.
I'm so happy that he's not going to play.
Let's see Kane finally lifting the Bundesliga, one of his first trophies of his career, first major trophies. I mean, yeah. So there you have it from us. It's
just a good player now.
It's just a good player now. It's been a wonderful flight flying with this beautiful, wonderful co-pilot of mine. There you have it. Stay tuned. We'll be back next week. It's still the Sports Lounge.